We've never seen anything like this before, at least not up until now. And the Quincy Wilson situation is a part of it, as well as, NCAA track and field, cross-country beef. All right, I'm going to hop into it. No hooks, no gimmicks. Let's ride. Because this is one of those videos that I had no intentions on making, but yeah, it's one of those moments. It all starts with Quincy Wilson, because I've been following the Quincy Wilson recruiting sweepstakes for a while. I probably shouldn't have to tell you this part, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's an Olympian, won a gold medal on the 4x4. He has been competing in professional races, both indoors and outdoors, broken a whole bunch of high school national records. That's Quincy Wilson. And as far as the 400 goes, for context, he's run faster than any man has run in college over the past 2 seasons. No shade, just being honest, that's what the numbers tell us. And when he was coming to his college list of where he was going to go, he narrowed it down to his top 5. And I covered it. I covered his top 5. I even covered, some of the other schools earlier on in his recruiting journey this season, because I'm the guy who does high school national recruit rankings. But Quincy Wilson made his choice. And I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. He said it's going to the University of Maryland. Now, if you don't know anything about college track and field, this is a big deal. And it's not just about Maryland. It's about everything. Because it means that we are living in a very different world. A very different NCAA world when it comes to sports. Because Quincy Wilson going to Maryland is, basically like going to a school that has no reputation for track and field. At all. Maryland is a program that cut funding. Not added funding, not won championships. They cut a significant amount of funding from their men's track and field program over the past decade. They almost lost the entire team. They only brought it back, I guess, due to some petitions or what have you. They don't win anything in the Big Ten right now. They were dead last in the conference, and they weren't even trying to win, even a little bit. But they have a coach who was a USA track and field, head coach for the Olympic team in 2012. He ran the 4x4. He has an Olympic gold medal in the 4x4. That all makes sense. So there's a relationship there, but it's also his hometown school. This matters. Not for Maryland so much, because even if Quincy Wilson goes there, wins the NCAA in the 400, that's great for him. Maryland will put some points on the board. I don't think it's going to make a big difference for them as a team. I just don't see that. But it tells us about the new era. Because the new era, when you have essentially a professional track and field athlete disguising himself as a college athlete in Quincy Wilson. That's what's happening. We're in the NIL world now, where he does have some buzz around him, some financial deals, New Balance, all that's kind of swirling around him. And because those things are happening, and I'm pretty sure Maryland found enough money to cover his education. If nothing else, they figured that part out. Because they might have cut a lot of funding, but I'm pretty sure they walked there, the head coach might have walked all the way up to the AD and said, look, we have a shot at Quincy Wilson, but y'all gonna have to figure out how to get me at least a scholarship for him. Because there are a lot of programs in the NCAA that don't give out full ride scholarships to anybody on their team. People assume there's way more dollars out there available, but they found one for him. Because you don't win a whole bunch of championships if you don't have scholarships, but then again, the schools that are consistently losing, they're not giving out that much money. So when Quincy is going to Maryland, the reason why I have to speak on it is because this is a huge shift. Quincy could have went anywhere in the country. He had all the national champions in the past few years chasing after him, including professional coaches. And going to Maryland, it makes me think that he likely will get to continue training with his local coach over at Bullis. To some degree, I don't know how all that's going to work together, but I think there'll still be some relationship there. He gets to be close to home. I'm pretty sure he, was grown enough where he could have gone away from home if he wanted to, but we've really never seen anything like this. An athlete of this caliber choose to go to this type of a situation, and Quincy Wilson is doing it, likely because the game has changed. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. The benefits, when you go pro, when you are, or in this case, go to college when you could have been a pro, for someone like him, college athletics is not really about team titles and winning championships anymore. It's not. It's about going to the place that's going to give you the best chance to continue, your forward momentum as an athlete on the way to professional success. And that might be in a school where winning as a team is not a priority. And no shade, I just don't think that's a big deal for Maryland. I mean, having Quincy Wilson there will matter. It'll help the team. But unless Maryland's doing something else in recruiting that I don't know about, because I don't know anything about who's going there. Certainly not from my recruiting board. So maybe they got some folk who are going to pop up on my radar who are going to be committed in the future. But if all they got was Quincy Wilson, I mean, that's likely probably going to be 10 points on the board for the NCAA championship meet, indoors and outdoors. Or at the very least, that's what they're expecting. And everything else, the bets are off. But that's just the beginning of the story. Because Quincy Wilson going to that school, I mean, a week when a whole bunch of other top athletes are going to be committing here and there, and I'll, trying to keep a pulse on it, try to update it on my website, that's going to happen. But the NCAA recruiting thing is so that the athletes can actually run in college, which brings us now to the track and field coaching beef. Because we just had an NCAA cross-country championship, and it came and went. On the women's side, the teams that won, or the team that won and the team that was second, are the ones that had the best recruiting over the past few years when it comes to distance runners. No shade, just being honest. NC State, BYU, all the top runners are going to go to one of those two. And the top two runners in the class of 2025 went to those two schools. Jane Hedengren, Sadie Engelhardt, that's what happened. So it makes sense on the women's side, and both of those schools aren't overwhelmingly recruiting international athletes. They're just not. But on the men's side, there were a whole bunch of international athletes who made a difference in the team title, specifically for Oklahoma State. And apparently the BYU coach wasn't a big fan of it, so he made some comments about, whether, I believe the direct quote is that he'd be embarrassed to have a team like that where it feels like you're kind of taking a shortcut to success because you're not really recruiting American athletes. And Oklahoma State's coach was like, hey, if you don't like the rules, you should change it. But, I'm playing by the rules. I'm doing everything by the book. And this is the team that I have. And this is the success that we're able to run with. If you put this on the shelf now, because I've made jokes about it, thumbnails, titles of how they package a video around, the NCAA's dirty little secret, but it's time to go there. Because, NCAA recruiting is incredibly competitive because you ain't just competing with the Americans. Quincy Wilson, to put him into this conversation, isn't just the fastest American. He's basically faster than anybody you can find in the world. That's what makes him a 99 overall rating on my scale as a recruit. But I try to build a scale that leaves gaps for the international kids, the way that I assess everyone. And I know, especially in distance running, they're going to go overseas and get talented athletes from wherever they can find them because winning is all that matters. Now, I've seen in the comments, and I know there's a current of people who don't want international athletes to come to America. When it comes to the beef back and forth, these are the rules. And international athletes come from all over for different sports. Go check out men's soccer in the NCAA. Ain't a whole lot of Americans filling up those rosters. Once again, you don't got to take my word for it. You can go look at it for yourself. But if we look at the totality of it, yes, international athletes are coming to the NCAA. They're dominating. They're doing it at all different levels. When I was a college coach in Division II, I coached distance at the time. I got, emails every single week from international athletes, especially, Kenyan, Ethiopian, what have you, who are trying to get, placement in American colleges. They didn't care. If you could figure out the money to get them there, they would come and they were going to run. And I even saw some of those athletes show up for other programs that we competed against. So, it's a thing. But for those people who don't want the international athletes to come, what do you really want? Because we have all these NCAA institutions, about 1,000 of them that run track and field. And right now, we got a whole bunch of rosters that are just trying to fill themselves out. In D1, that's less of a concern. But in D2, D3, there are a bunch of schools that don't have enough athletes to just go out there and field a team. If they didn't have international athletes to take up some of these roster spots, it would be even worse. And again, the international athlete thing, it happened in all the other sports. So to say that we shouldn't have international athletes take these scholarships doesn't really make that much sense to me. Now, if we're going to put an age cap on who can compete on the NCAA roster, that I could get behind. Because when you have an athlete who's 26 years old and a freshman, I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel like that's a little bit against the spirit of what I thought the NCAA was about. Hey, could be me. Could just be me. I might not be, maybe I'm alone in that, maybe I'm not. Let me know in the comments. But the whole beef between the coaches and Are you doing it the right way? I mean, hey, if you have the money in your budget and those athletes want to come and the rules say they can come and they can show up and show out, as far as I can tell right now, that's the rules. So you can't really get mad at it. The same way you can't really get mad at Quincy Wilson going to Maryland. I mean, USC thought they had a shot. UCLA thought they had a shot. I mean, a whole bunch of other schools took their shot. I mean, and some of them fell out of the running, whether it was Texas Tech, Florida, whoever. But Quincy Wilson is going to the school that's best for him, and they're more than happy to have him. They didn't say, oh, well, he's been running with the pros, so it's a little unfair. It's going to feel like cheating. They're like, no, we're going to get him here because the rules say that even though he's run in pro races and won some of them, he is allowed to run in college. It's the same thing that's happening with the international athletes in a very different way. The lines are blurred right now. What it means to be a pro, what it means to be a collegiate athlete, is basically one and the same. Because there really is no real pro track and field circuit, not in the truer sense. Professional track and field has essentially been an NIL agreement up until now by Nike, Adidas, or whoever else gives you gear. In this case, now we've got New Balance and On Running and others who are trying to move into the market or, kind of grow in it. So if that's all it's ever really been, college track and field is probably one of the most uniquely placed sports, considering all of the challenges that are facing it and the lack of media coverage, where at the bare minimum, a college athlete might be able to, kind of take advantage of the NIL landscape. I really do want to see what happens when Quincy Wilson goes to Maryland, because it's probably going to be the most attention I've ever seen on Maryland track and field, because he would have been a big deal in any college program. But Maryland is a program I've never focused on. I've just written them off as an afterthought every time I look at them. That ain't going to happen anymore because Quincy Wilson is there. And maybe he'll be there long enough to build the entire program up, or at the very least put them on the map. Or maybe he'll just have a very unique situation that's specific to him, training close to home and kind of working between their coaches and, his coach at Bullis. Again, I'm just assuming, I've heard rumblings that the Bullis coach might be involved. Like maybe that's the new world we're in, where the highly specialized athletes, the top group, they get treated differently than everybody else. That's kind of what this NIL world did. Because it's got to end here. That this whole NIL thing has to relate to Quincy. Quincy Wilson ain't you. Quincy Wilson ain't like everybody else. The only person in the class of 2025 who's a little bit like him is Tate Taylor. That is it. Nobody else. Because they have the records to back it up. Everybody else ain't special. If you're an American recruit, you ain't them. Even if you're a 5-star on my list, at least up until right now, you are not them. And you won't get treated the same way. Not from start to finish. But for those athletes who are in that special group, the ones who are essentially pretending to be like everyone else, the ones who go to the USAs, and for that matter, might even make it look like they belong there. While they are in high school, they are not like everyone else. And whether you are an American athlete or an international athlete, none of that really matters because college coaches just want to win. They don't care where the talent is. They just want to know how to find it, hopefully a lot of it. And if they have a scholarship to pay for it, they will give it out to put that athlete in their uniform. So there you have it. Quincy Wilson going to Maryland. College, cross country, track and field beef, BYU, Oklahoma State, all of that is going on. And, these are my thoughts. I just decided I'm going to let it rip, and see what y'all have to say about it because, this is not normal, but it's the world we're living in now. You actually made it all the way to the end of this video. I do have to admit that thank you doesn't do it justice anymore because you are a real one. And if you want more from me beyond this video, on SCArecruiting.com, you can get a ton of resources like my free recruiting guide, online courses, and much more, including the option to meet with me one-on-one, where my specialty is helping you figure out which schools might actually be the best fit for you. And if nothing else, and you really just want to see more content like this, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.